Hello friends, welcome to another session of All Force Learning Program. I am DNR, your physics lecturer. So we were dealing with a chapter called electric potential and capacitors. Our today's topic is energy stored in a capacitor and various illustrations of the energy stored. The applications of energy stored in a capacitor. Applications of energy stored in a capacitor. Energy stored in a capacitor. Now, before going to this, let us have a chat regarding what are the basic things required to understand this topic. So I was telling you, capacitor, an electrical device which is used to store energy and charge. You store energy in the form of charge. We store electrical potential energy, right? So now the energy is stored in the field actually, right? So I was defining the capacity of a capacitor. The capacity of a capacitor, C is equal to Q by V. C is Q by V, or from this we get Q is CV, or V is equal to Q by C, right? Potential. Then I have given you the various different types of capacitors. We have dealt with the different types of capacitors that are there in our syllabus. A spherical capacitor, spherical condenser, parallel plate capacitor, cylindrical capacitor, all that. You have to remember the values for the formulas for the capacitors. They are very important. Now later we have taken the series and parallel combination of the capacitors, right? Then the energy stored in a capacitor. Now, I was telling you in the previous session how the energy is stored in the capacitor. In the process of charging the capacitor, while charging the capacitor, you do work. There is work done in charging the capacitor. So, the work done in charging the capacitor is stored in it as the energy, the electrical potential energy. Right? Suppose if we consider a parallel plate capacitor, let's consider a parallel plate capacitor. These are two plates, let's say X and Y. The area of the plate is A. This is the area of the plate A, like this. The distance between the plates is D. The distance is D, right? I am charging this by connecting it to a battery like this. This is a key, this is a battery. So I switch on the key, I charge it. In the process of charging the capacitor, right? So first of all, before going to this, what is the capacity of a parallel plate capacitor? The capacity of a parallel plate capacitor is A epsilon naught by D. A is the area of the plate, D is the distance between the plates. So the capacity is parallel plate capacitor. So when it is charged, this plate acquires positive charge. Now this gets positive charge like this. And this gets negative charge inner side, the outer it is again back. So there is a uniform electric field that is formed between the plates of the capacitor. Now if the charge stored in the capacitor is capital Q, this is plus capital Q. Well, on this one it will be minus capital Q. The charge stored is plus Q minus Q. The surface charge density is sigma, it is capital Q by A, the charge stored per unit area. Well, the charge stored sigma is, charge stored Q is sigma into A, the charge that is stored on the capacitor is sigma into A. If the distance between the plates is D, there is a uniform electric field is formed. A uniform electric field will be formed between the plates of the capacitor. A uniform electric field is formed. E. What is a uniform electric field? If the potential difference between the plates is V, then the uniform electric field is V by D. Well, directed from positive plate to negative plate. The direction of the field from positive plate to the negative plate like this. The lines of force, parallel lines of force. Uniform electric field, at any point the field is constant in magnitude and direction, and the electric field is V by D. So from that we can write V is equal to ED. This way also you can write. So the potential difference between the plates. You see, suppose I was telling you in a capacitor, what is the charge stored in a capacitor? Well, on one plate it is plus q, the other plate is minus q. The net charge becomes 0. So when the net charge is 0, what is the fun in using the capacitor? So what is the charge stored in the capacitor? Is the charge that is stored on the first plate, the positive plate, the plate actually. This is the, so the charge stored is plus q. Q, if the surface charge density is sigma, it is sigma into A, equation 1. Right? So the charge is sigma into A. The potential difference between these two, so it's plus, it's minus, the potential difference, this plate is connected to this terminal, this plate is connected to this terminal, the potential between these two terminals is same as the potential difference between these two plates in the diagram. So the potential difference is V, and field is E is V by D, V is ET, right? So what happens is when the charge is given actually, so what really happens is, suppose if this is the plate, I am connecting it to a battery, I switch on a battery plus minus. This terminal is positive. Positive in the sense that doesn't mean positive charge. It is high in potential. This is high potential, this is low potential. This being a metal plate will pull the electrons. So it requires positive charge. Due to induction, minus. Well, plus, this negative will compensate the plus. So that way, slowly this will this will give charge to this one gradually like this, and due to induction this gets negative charge like this. Now the electric field is formed. So what happens in the process of charging, when the first charge was created, right, first charge is produced, when I am putting the next charge, the first charge already existing will oppose it. So this battery need to do work to overcome that opposition. So to give the charge, this has to do work. Well, after that, the further charge, to put the further charge, the already existing charge will oppose. So that way the work is being done. So the work done in charging, the total work done by the battery, the total work done by the source, the agent, the total work done by the source, whomsoever it may be, the total work done by the source in charging the battery, in charging the capacitor, the total work done in charging the capacitor, giving a charge Q at a potential V, it is V into Q. The total work done is VQ. Right? The total work done by the battery or the source, whomsoever it may be, who is giving charge to the capacitor, the net total work done is VQ, of which only half the energy is stored in the battery. So in the cell, the energy stored in the cell, the energy stored in the capacitor, is half VQ it is. Only half of the energy stored. Now you get a doubt, sir, how about the other half? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. What happened to the other half? In the process of charging, the other half is lost in the form of heat. It is the working process, the charging process needs some energy to be lost. So that is lost in the form of heat. So therefore the energy stored is only half VQ. The total work done is VQ. Now this is a very important point. He will ask you a question. What is the total work done by the source or the battery or whatever external agent in charging the capacitor? The total work done is VQ. But what is the energy stored in the capacitor? It is only half VQ. The remaining half is lost in the process of charging in the form of heat. So that way the energy stored is only half VQ. So the energy stored, it is half V into Q. Or well, V is, I can write as Q by C, or Q is CV. So let me substitute CV here. So it is half into CV. V into V, V square. So I get this as, this is V into charge is C into V, CV square. Or suppose if you replace Q, right, or replace V, V is Q by C. It's Q by C into Q. So it is half Q by C into Q, it's Q square by 2C. So that way the energy stored in a capacitor is given as half VQ or half CV square plus half Q square by 2C. So this is the energy stored in a capacitor. right? So what are all the various things is going to ask you like this. The surface charge density is first, the charge stored is Q. The charge stored on the plate, first positive plate is plus Q, negative plate is minus Q. Don't say the total charge is 0. Plus Q minus Q in total charge 0. No. If it is 0, what is the fun in using the capacitor? It's of no use. No. The charge stored is the charge stored on the positive plate, that is plus Q. The surface charge density, sigma, it's Q by A. So Q is sigma A. He'll ask you charge, surface charge density, electric field. Now what is the electric field? A uniform electric field is produced. So the uniform electric field E is equal to V by D. V is ED. Very important point. Right? This is equation 1. This is equation 2. Well, capacity is equation 3. He'll ask you to find out the capacity. What is the capacity of the capacitor? It's like this. Now, what is the work done by the source in charging the capacitor? Total work done is VQ. And the energy that is stored in it. So, please remember, all the work done by the battery is not stored in the capacitor. During the process of charging, there is some energy lost in the form of heat. So, the energy stored is only half of this. So, it is half VQ. Well, that can be written as half VQ, half C square or Q square by 2C, right? So, this way the energy is stored. Next, so the capacity, the potential, electric field, energy, right? Sometimes he'll ask you what is the force of attraction between the plates of the capacitor. This is a previous entrance question. He is asked, with what force does the plates get attracted? This is positive, negative, correct? So they get attracted. What is the force of attraction? I was telling you, you know, we have learned in the earlier chapter, the force, suppose in an electric field E, there is a charge Q. There is an electric field E. In that field, if I place a charge Q, the force the force experienced is F is equal to EQ. I place a charge upon Q. So the force is E into Q. So now, in the electric field E, there is the field is produced by this charge field, and in that field there is minus Q being placed. Attraction, positive, negative. Unlike charges attract, like charges repel. So there is force of attraction. So the force experienced by the negative plate, is same as force experienced by the positive plate. It's mutual force, action reaction, Newton's third law, action reaction pair it is, right? So the force of attraction between them, it is the electric field between them into the charge of that plate, Q. Well, minus Q, I have already, it's actually minus Q, but I have already specified it is attraction. Minus is attraction, it is understood. Don't say attraction force is minus EQ. Repulsive force is positive, attraction force is negative. It is understood. Force of repulsion is always plus, force of attraction is minus. So I have already stated that it is attraction force. So I don't write minus EQ. Right. So F is equal to the electric field into Q. Now what is the electric field between these two plates? The electric field between the plates E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. Well, this was another important formula you need to know. The electric field between the plates is sigma by epsilon naught. We have done it in the earlier chapter applying Gauss law. Field due to an infinite sheet, field due to an infinite sheet, sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Well, positive plate, this is sigma by 2 epsilon and this is sigma. Both adding together it is sigma by epsilon naught. So the electric field between the plates is here. So putting it here, it is sigma by epsilon naught. But what is sigma? Q by A. So this is Q by A. Into this Q square by Q square. Well, sigma by total electric field is sigma by epsilon. But the field produced by positive plate is by 2. Total electric field between the plates. And a field here, this is due to positive plate and field due to negative plate. Field due to positive plate is sigma by 2 epsilon naught, sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Total electric field is this. But while finding the force, in the field of the positive plate, there is negative charge existing. So it is E, that is sigma by 2 epsilon naught into Q. Well, sigma is Q by A. So Q into Q by A, Q square by 2 epsilon naught. Very important formula. So this is equation 5. Right? So this is 6. This is 7, 8. I am writing all the formulas pertaining to a parallel plate capacitor. Whenever there is charge given to a parallel plate capacitor, what are the various parameters he is going to ask you? He can ask you charge. Well, he has given you the plate area, the distribution of the plates, charge, Suppose he has given these things. Then first, surface charge density sigma q by A, q is sigma A. Next, electric field sigma by epsilon naught. Capacity epsilon naught by D. Then the electric field E you can write as V by D. So potential is Vd. The potential difference between the plates is V. Work done VQ. Total energy stored in the capacitor half VQ. So this can be written in these forms. Force of attraction between them like this. Okay. So this way we write the various parameters regarding the capacitor when it is charged with the energy stored, whatever energy that is stored there. Okay. So let us now take the illustration regarding the energy stored in the capacitor. Coming to the energy stored in the capacitor, the energy stored sigma, the energy stored in the capacitor sigma, E energy stored, you can write the energy stored as Nana. So the energy stored in the capacitor E energy, it is half CV square. Suppose CV square. From this formula you please understand, you please check, if V is constant, the electric potential is maintained constant. Well, half is again a constant. Then you can write energy directly proportional to C, the capacitor. What do you mean this? He is comparing two capacitors. Both are connected to same potential. Well, potential in the sense they are in parallel. You can even say they are in parallel. Suppose imagine there are two capacitors like this. Both are connected to a battery like this. So this is C1, this is C2, this is C1 capacitor, this is C2 capacitor in parallel to a battery. In parallel, potential is same. Now is asking you to compare the energy comparison, right? So when potential is constant, energy is directly proportional to capacity. So directly proportional to capacity in the sense E1 by E2 is equal to C1 by C2. When two capacitors are in parallel, when potential is same, when they are maintained at same potential, if they are at common potential, then the energy is directly proportional to capacity. More the capacity, more energy, less the capacity, less energy. Let us understand. So I was telling you a capacitor can be imagined to be like a tank storing water. Tank is a capacitor where we store water. There are two different tanks, smaller one, bigger one. Now I pour water into them, maintain same level. Both are at same level. For example, this is bigger one, this is smaller one, same height. Now I pour water to the same level. Now in which one the energy stored is more? Obviously the bigger tank has more mass. Height is same for both. Smaller tank has less mass. So obviously the energy stored in the bigger one will be more. So the energy stored in a bigger capacitor is more. So E proportional to C. Directly proportional. E1 by E2 is C1 by C2. Well, similarly, suppose if I consider the energy stored in a capacitor as a formula, I can even write the energy as half Q square by 2C. The energy stored in a capacitor is half Q square by 2C. Q square by 2C. Now in this one, if the charge is constant, please understand, right? So if the charge is constant, Q is maintained constant. What do you mean Q constant? Both the capacitors are equally charged. What does it mean? They are in series. You can even consider, let the capacitors be in series. Nana, I was telling you in series the charge is constant. The current is constant. The charge maintained is constant. So therefore in series Q, C is same. So therefore charge Q is same. Right? Then if they are equally charged, in the sense, so this is a constant too, of course is a constant. Now the energy varies inversely with capacity. So now inverse in the sense E1 by E2 is C2 by C1. C2 by C1, inverse. E1 C1 is E2 C2. Right? So this way you can write down. So if the capacitors are in series, charge constant, Q maintained constant, then the energy stored is a energy stored is inversely proportional to capacity. E1 by E2 is C2 by C1 like this. And here if both are in potential, if potential is maintained constant, potential maintained constant, please remember they are in parallel connection. This is parallel. Q constant, this is in series connection. You can understand it as it's well, it's not that in series only it is constant, nothing like that. You can maintain two capacitors in pouring same charge. Now let me make you understand. A bigger tank, a smaller tank, pour equal amount of water, pour same amount of water. Well, in the smaller tank the level will be more, but in the bigger tank the level is less. So the height is less, potential energy is less. So that way, if the charge is maintained constant, so bigger tank will have less height, less energy. More capacity, less energy. Inverse, if the capacity is more, energy is less. Well, vice versa. If the potential is same, if the heights are same, bigger tank has more mass. So if the capacity is more, energy is more. So that way you have to compare. So whenever this question, based on this, the question will be like this. Suppose if two capacitors are connected in parallel to a battery, let us say 3 microfarads and 2 microfarads are connected to a 12-volt battery like this. What is the ratio of their energy in parallel? Potential constant. So energy proportional to C. So it is 3:2. Same diagram, same capacitors, if they are connected like this. This is 3 microfarads and 2 microfarads connected to the same 12-volt battery, but in series. In series, charge is constant. Inverse. So the energy will be 2:3. It's 2:3 like this. So this way we compare the energy and capacity relation like this, right? The energy and capacity relation. Next, the energy density, that is the energy density of the charge that is stored in the capacitor. The energy density. Now, what do you mean energy density? You know, density is a term which is always used when you compare any physical quantity with respect to the amount of space. Linear, about line, you call linear. We were discussing charge on a line, linear charge density. Charge in a sheet area, surface charge density. Charge in a space, volume charge density. So similarly, the energy that is stored in the volume, what amount of energy is stored in the volume? Suppose if these are the capacitor plates, right, like this, the plate area is A and the distance between the plates is D. The energy is stored in the field between the plates, between these two. So in this volume. So the energy density U, it's actually represented as U. So this is the energy that is stored per unit volume. Within this total volume, what is the energy? So per unit volume, how much it is? So the energy density is, the energy stored, it's half capital Q into potential by volume, or half CV square by volume, or half Q square by C by volume, right? So therefore the energy density is energy per unit volume. So half, it is, let me write this in terms of capacity. You know capacity, we know A epsilon naught by D, V square, volume is area into D, area into D. So area cancel. I can write this as half epsilon naught V square by D, and D, this is D square. Well, V by D, I can write as half epsilon naught V by D whole square. But you know, I was telling you what is V by D, the uniform electric field. So the energy density you can write as half epsilon naught E square, the electric field. Well, half epsilon naught E, you know, electric field between this is sigma, the total electric field. Field due to positive charge is sigma by 2 epsilon, negative charge sigma by 2 epsilon, total. So it is sigma square by sigma by epsilon naught whole square. So half, this is epsilon naught sigma square by epsilon naught square. So one of the epsilon can be removed. sigma square by 2 epsilon naught. You can write as this way, this way, this way, or like this. I simplify to give you like this, half epsilon naught v by d whole square, or this comes out to be like this, half epsilon naught e square, or it is sigma square by 2 epsilon naught. Well, sigma is q by a, q square by 2 epsilon naught, a square you can write down in different forms. Basically, we use this as the energy that is stored per unit volume, the energy density of the capacitor. The energy stored in the capacitor per unit volume, energy per unit volume. So this is half epsilon naught e square or sigma square by 2 epsilon naught. So this way we write down the energy stored in a capacitor, right? So these are the things there. We'll continue the remaining thing in the later class, right? Thank you.